watch this?
How?
How?
Ew, how do you watch this? Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants. Welcome to How Do You Watch This? This is a movie review podcast where each week we, Demi and Megan, give each other a movie to watch in a genre we love, but they don't like.
Yep.
Great. Thank you for contributing.
First episode,
Yeah. So, basically, I'm Megan.
I'm Demi.
And I am a romance lover. I pretty much exclusively enjoy romance movies, books, etc. And Demi.
I love horror, so complete opposite.
Yeah.
In some regards. And yeah, that's pretty much all I watch. So
So this was Demi's idea. She decided to torture me. You're welcome. She decided to torture me so I would watch more horror films.
Yeah.
So the premise basically is that each week she's going to choose a horror movie for me to watch and rate and review. And she is going to watch a romance. And we will be tortured equally.
yeah, I wanted to emphasize that I am also being tortured. Yeah, so we're just gonna go. So each week we'll have a different thread that kind of links both movies together.
Mm-hmm.
And our common thread this week is guilty pleasures.
Right. So the idea with the guilty pleasures is that it's a movie that we know isn't good, but we enjoy genuinely in some capacity.
Yeah.
So we figured we would start pretty hot with some lower quality films. Do we want to start horror or romance?
I don't know. Well, let's say what we gave each other. So,
Okay.
why don't you let everyone know what movie I asked you to watch?
Right. So Demi asked me to watch the movie 13 Ghosts, which for anyone who doesn't know is spelled THIR 13en Ghosts. So that was really interesting. By director Steve Beck, and it was released in 2001. So I think you can already see where this is gonna go.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
So basically, like, maybe we just give like a little snapshot about each movie, and then we can start with horror this week.
Okay.
All right, I've just decided.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's.
All right, so the snapshot of 13 Ghosts that I wrote is that man inherits uncle's weird glass mansion where 12 murderous ghosts are released and try to kill everyone.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, just the overall consensus. Do you want to give a snapshot for the romance?
Yep. Okay. So Josh and Molly, childhood quote unquote friends, fake engagement to make dying father happy. Somehow they fall in love. And that's pretty much the
Okay.
gist of it.
Okay, great. So before we jump in, I'm just going to give a couple content warnings for the horror movie. It's not actually a very gruesome horror film, 13 Ghosts. It's pretty comical, but there is a house fire, if that's triggering for you. There is death, and there are gruesome depictions of ghosts. So just ghosts with, like, bodies slashed, all that sort of stuff. But again, 2001, so
Yeah.
not really that creepy. I want to kind of give a step-by-step of how it felt to watch this movie. So,
Please.
number one, we enter this film. I watched it at my friend Jackie's house.
Okay.
So her dog, Duke,
Yeah.
big greyhound, farting on me the entire time.
I feel like that adds to the
Yeah,
experience
it
for
was.
sure.
I felt like I was in the house. Definitely, I was right there. So the film
It was the 13th ghost.
Yeah. Pretty much. So it opens and camera work on point. It was just, they were riding a roller coaster, back, forth, in the middle, spinny swirls. Couldn't handle it. Luckily, I didn't get nauseous, but, you know, if it went on for much longer, it probably would have.
I mean, it's setting the stage for what you're about to view.
Yeah, which was duct tape outfits and a knockoff Ghostbusters equipment. I couldn't. First of all, it was like clear. It's like they took some like ponchos and just ran some duct tape up and down the sides, and like props for the ingenuity. But
I mean, early 2000s. I don't know what the budget was.
right,
It was all spent on maybe the
It
ghost.
was all spent on the house, dude. I don't know. the house. Then I have, so the most memorable scene for me was this whole intro.
Okay,
and
yes.
one aspect of this intro was the iconic line that Cyrus, the uncle, says, which is he yells, "Bring in the cube." And I literally had to pause the fucking movie. I was like, "Bring in the cube." He says it so powerfully. Like, this is like this really big, "Bring in the cube."
Yeah. No, the intro is definitely pretty iconic. It's one of the favorite scenes of mine.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just insane.
Yeah, that was chaos galore.
I think it sets the stage for the rest of the movie really
Yeah.
well.
I mean,
everything's in that intro. And yeah.
Just about everything. We were introduced to one of our head characters, not a main character, but one of the main side characters. Shaggy was part of the film.
Matthew Lillard. Respect on Shaggy's name. But yes.
Yeah, so I referenced him as Shaggy throughout. I know his name was Dennis.
Yeah.
His name was Dennis, but he's not Dennis. First of all, he's wearing a Britney Spears mic in the beginning, talking through beautiful, so 2000s.
It's like what the future tech would be.
Oh,
and they were like, this is what
including
we would have.
the ghost busting equipment that had like an actual ghost figure on it or some shit, or was it like a Michael Myers thing? I don't know. It's something ridiculous. So then you see the opening credits scene, which involves a beautiful family playing so goofily. This girl who's like playing with her little brother and being like, "You're the best brother ever." Okay. Like, no teenager wants to play with their 5-year-old brother, but I mean, maybe that
shows they were happy,
I guess. And then the husband and wife were like, "I love you so much." And then it like continues to pan around the room and show it like you hear the sounds of like a fire blazing and everyone's screaming, "Where are you? Where are you?" Anyway, the mom dies at the beginning, just like any Disney movie.
Yeah.
So mother dies. Then you pan to the family living in a really shitty apartment. There's a scooter that's involved regularly throughout the film. That's another main side character. Don't know why this scooter has such consistent screen time.
I mean, scooters were the thing.
They were the thing.
So
I definitely hit my shin on them quite a few times. And you see a lawyer come to the house and present them with the weirdest fucking key I've ever seen in my life. This like wild key, and then you basically get like, he opens his computer and you get this like old school, very early 2000s video of him. Like, video pops up on the screen. It's this uncle giving his like last will and testament or whatever. And it's like a Zillow listing for the house. Just like different pictures of the house keep coming up. He's like, "This is all yours."
Congratulations. It's how I would want my will to be.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just a recording.
Yeah, and then it'll like the recording screen will like close, and then it'll like open back up, and he's like, "One last thing," and then it closes, and then it opens back up. "Before I go." I didn't even know computers could do that.
They could in the 2000s.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen, I'm here for it. So then we move forward, and the creepy little lawyer is bringing them to the house for them to see, and you see a beautiful mined house with like a ton of clear walls and just writing all over them. Absolutely, that's the scariest part of the whole film. I can't imagine living in that house. I would go absolutely fucking
like
insane.
all glass.
It's all glass. Even the fucking bathroom has those weird little like square things that just like slightly distort it.
Yep.
No.
But an upgrade from their shitty apartment.
I mean, I guess, but I personally would rather have a shitty apartment than a glass house. I just feel like I don't want to see what you're doing. I want privacy.
That's fair. That's fair.
I would run into 100 walls.
I was gonna say, you didn't introduce the nanny character.
Oh my god, how could I forget the nanny?
Who's iconic.
What was her name? Was it?
It was like
Mart?
What is like my mind's thinking Maggie.
Maybe it was Maggie.
I'm not sure.
Maggie rhymes with Shaggy, so we'll go with it.
Okay, we'll go with Maggie.
So Maggie is absolutely the best character in the whole thing. This poor woman, don't know why she continues to travel with them. I mean, it kind of seems like maybe she has a pretty good, like, the daughter was cooking and she was just sitting there with
she's a nanny and she's like, I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you get this career?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, no, exactly. But she did have to play, again, she had to play with a child.
That's
so,
fair.
like, that kind of, like, already.
As a nanny usually does.
I mean, I guess. I suppose. So, they get to the house. You have the awesome nanny who we love, 10 out of 10. You get to the whatever, Shaggy's there. He's pretending to be a friggin' electrician or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the scene where I think could be deleted.
Okay.
And maybe I'll go back to it, but basically Shaggy needs to go in the basement and check the lights because the whole neighborhood's going down because of the house that isn't turned on.
Yes.
And also never let someone into your house. Like, you get a new house and you're like, sure, stranger who doesn't have any credentials beside a little patch on your chest. Come on in.
That was enough for a lot of people.
I mean,
back in the day, and that's why
back then. I guess it was 22 years ago now.
A lot of people got murdered
right.
for just letting whoever in who had a patch. So
yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how anyone could. Well, I was gonna say I don't know how anyone could commit a murder in a glass house, but we find out pretty quickly.
Yeah, we find out.
Yeah, we find out. Anyway, Shaggy goes to the basement. The lawyer's like, "Oh, this is a house," and then we see some. The first realistic aspect of this whole movie where the dad, our hero, he's like, oh, I'm only a math teacher. I can't even pay the taxes on this house. And I was like, oh my God, finally some realism. And then,
I can relate.
Yeah, exactly. And then the lawyer, Mr. Blonde, handsome guy who in the early 2000s would have been a heartthrob for sure.
Right.
He's like, don't worry about it. Your Uncle Cyrus was really good with his money. Okay. So... Also, I wouldn't want that house. Like, I would immediately put it up for sale.
Right. Yeah. I'll just take the money. I don't need this.
Take the money, get a smaller house that isn't weird. Also, but who would buy it? I mean...
There'd be some weirdos. I'm sure.
Maybe. Anyway. So, once again, by the way, we get the emotional support scooter comes back in with the little boy riding his scooter around in this new house. Don't know why that scooter had to come with them.
Other than it being just an iconic piece of early 2000s, to remind you.
Yeah, to remind you of the
where
era.
We're at. Yeah. But
so he's got the scooter. Very exciting for him. He's running around the house with it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we start seeing the ghosts come out, right? So Shaggy, he awakened them or whatever. I don't know. And then at the same time, like, the lawyer went downstairs and, like, you see that he's actually evil and he wants to go steal a bag of money, which apparently Shaggy had been looking for anyway. Sorry, Dennis. Apparently Dennis had been looking for. So the lawyer, like, picks up the bag of money, which sets off these, like, little levers, which gets the whole house running. And you're like, oh my God, no, the ghosts are being released.
Mm-hmm.
So, meanwhile, the sister... is in the bathroom having her own, like...
She immediately goes to take a bath.
Yeah, she immediately goes to the bathroom. She's having her Neutrogena, like, face wash ad. Just splashing water. Who goes to a bathtub to wash their face? Couldn't be me.
No.
So she's washing her face. There's a dead ghost in the bathtub who, after researching post-watching the film, you learn... content warning, committed suicide or died by suicide.
No.
So the way that the ghost is presented, by the way, I mean, it couldn't be more 2000s. It's a buxom, blonde woman who just so happens to have, like, slashes across her really perfectly round double D chest. Like, really.
I mean... The hot ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
She was, what was her ghost name?
The princess,
The
I
princess,
think.
yeah. Something princess.
Yeah, she was like the princess, I think. So, she almost kills the daughter, but the daughter, like, gets distracted or whatever. Fast forward, like, yada, yada, yada. They're all fighting ghosts. They're, like, they can see them with their special glasses. That allow them to see them. If they don't see them, they just see people being thrown around. We get again, going back to the classic early 2000s, breast reveal. The daughter, of course, just so happens to have her shirt ripped so that her breasts are like pushing out of her bra, and you see that. It's only a second, and luckily the dad then gives her his coat, like a good father, to cover her up. You know,
I feel like a breast reveal is just common. And
it's common, and we'll talk about another one, and I'm sure. So then, okay. I'm sorry, I forgot a very important part. This random lady shows up. She just happens to be in the house. She's like a Laura Croft style figure there to get rid of the ghosts and save them all because they're being trapped by evil Cyrus. So she shows up. Apparently she's been in the house to try to like get rid of the ghosts or whatever. I'm talking so much. Okay. So she's trying to get rid of the ghosts, and so she helps get the whatever. It wasn't the Juggernaut. It was like the whatever the other one was. The Jackal. That ghost, which was like, I don't know, someone in an iron cage on their head. So
there's a YouTube video, and you can watch all the explanations of each ghost online if you would like to.
Of course there is. So she like helps stop the ghost. She like throws a flare at the ghost, and the ghost is like, no, light, I guess, and runs away. And so then they proceed, the father and this figure, who at first I thought were going to fall in love. I was really hoping for it. Love me some love. And then they each grab the daughter's legs and run and drag this poor freaking girl across the freaking house. And I'm like, you couldn't get her to stand up and like help her run. No, you had to have it so that her back would be bouncing and hitting the ground against every metal connection that's in this house.
Just faster.
Yeah. Apparently. Then we get, they go, oh, I spelled daughter wrong on here. I wrote dragging the daughter.
Daughter?
Daughter. Got a little British. I was going to say Italian, so I don't know where that came from. Anyway. Then they're like in a library or whatever. They're all planning. The lady's like, I guess you have to kill yourself. So she tells the dad that he has to like jump into the eye and become the 13th ghost in order for everything to work, because the whole house is basically this demonic way to see the future. Anyway, I don't know the purpose of that. I guess whoever has this device is the most powerful person in the land. Whatever. They do mention something cool, which I liked, which was the Black Zodiac, and I loved that. I was like, ooh, Black Zodiac. That's so fun. Googled it. I think that they invented it. I don't know.
I don't know about that. No.
I don't know. I looked it up. All I could find, everything ran back to this.
Right.
I'll be honest, I only went on page 1 of Google, so didn't try too hard. Oh my goodness. I forgot. I predicted at one point that Cyrus would be the 13th ghost.
Oh.
I got very excited. Spoiler alert, he's not. Oh, also another thing that I forgot to mention, that the girl is like laying in her bed. Like, this is before we get to the bathroom scene or whatever. She's like laying on her bed. Like, this is the best. Oh my God, the bed looks so comfy. Yes. She looks over and there's a weird freaking doll head on her dresser. And I was like, nothing in this world. If I looked over and saw a doll head on a dresser.
Especially like a new house. You're just walking in. It's like,
It's literally, it was like this creepy doll head, like with no eyeballs. No. Go back.
Yeah.
Immediately no. Also, I wrote down, because the little boy goes missing. I should have said this earlier. Ugh, I'm all over the place. Not reading my notes.
I mean, it's like 13 Ghosts. It's all over the place.
Yeah. The little boy goes missing at one point.
Yeah.
And I think even one of the characters says this line. It might have been our friend Dennis. Goes, how do you lose someone in a glass house? Agreed. How do you lose someone in a glass house? I don't know. And then, of course, the dead mom shows up, and she's talking to the son, trying to save his life.
She's one of the ghosts that were
captured. Of course she's one of the ghosts. And then that random lady showed up. Okay, then it's just the adults. Like, the girl ran off, the daughter ran off, the boy's gone missing, and they're just like, fuck the kids, let's go to the library. And that's where he finds out he has to die, apparently. Yes. Okay. Also, there was a lot of early 2000s commentary in the film that was very yelling. This is, quote, this is not the time to be a girl. Go, 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 unquote. And I would like to say, once again, spoiler alert, Shaggy, you're the one who fucking died. You're the one who died.
He died. Well, you'll explain it, but
okay, I guess so. Anyway, so then we move forward. Continue. They're all running around. An iconic quote by our friend Maggie, aka the nanny. Quote, "Is that half of the lawyer?"
So because he got sliced.
Yeah,
right?
he got sliced. So I forgot to mention earlier, the lawyer stole the money, but then the house like closed on him and like sliced him in literal half.
Yeah.
So that was really funny. Then we get betrayals.
Yes.
Oh my god. So first of all, number one, Shaggy, aka Dennis, and the dad go run off. They're gonna find the kids. The nanny and the random Laura Croft lady, whatever her name is, they're gonna set things in motion and try to either blow up the whole house and kill everyone in it, or I don't know, stop it in its tracks. While this is happening, you see that they're the dad and Dennis are running around with a piece of wall to protect themselves, because the wall, the writing on the wall that I referenced earlier, that actually protects them against the demons, whatever. But a demon comes, and it's the guy with the metal all over him, the hammer. The hammer comes. And he's got all these spikes in him and whatever. And earlier, Shaggy, our psychic, by the way, he's psychic. I didn't say that before.
By the way, he's psychic.
FYI. If you didn't know, he's psychic. He's a little psychic. So he like that's so ravens and sees that he's gonna be killed by the hammer. And so the hammer's there, and like he shoves the dad into the corner and like behind the glass, and he's like, I'm gonna protect you, I guess. I don't know. He's not gonna
for no fucking reason.
For no reason. For no reason. First of all, they definitely get on his shoulders. You could have both gone behind there. And then at one point, the dad's like banging on the glass. Mind you, this glass is leaning up against the wall. If he banged on it, it would have fallen over.
It was not like secured.
No, it was not like it was nothing you could pound again. So the hammer kills him, and then anyway, so he's dead. R.I.P. Dennis.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
my favorite character.
Yeah, no, he's great. So and then you see that like Cyrus shows up, and you're like, oh my god, the ghost of Cyrus is here. Yes. And so Cyrus shows up, and the nanny's like, oh my god, Laura Croft, like, Cyrus is here, like, or this man, whatever. Yeah. And she picks up a book, and you're like, oh my god, she's gonna clobber him with her spells. And she knocks the nanny out. Betrayal. Yeah. She goes and kisses the ghost. I was like, she's making out with a ghost? What the hell? You later find out he's not a ghost. He's actually alive. Yeah. So that was like less exciting, obviously.
And a twist.
But that was another twist. But I was shocked.
Shook it.
Yeah, I was shook it. She betrayed whatever. And then like whatever, all the ghosts are like holding hands in a circle, and the kids are in the middle, and there's like these like really fast moving rings.
Yeah, it's like circling around them.
Yeah, it's circling around them. And then Shaggy shows up again in ghost form, and I couldn't believe that I had an emotional connection. I was like, oh my god, Shaggy, you're back.
He's back.
Oh, look at him cleaning his glasses for 5 minutes straight. So that was exciting. He's like, you gotta go protect your kids or something. I don't know. Yeah. Something along those lines. So then the dad, for whatever reason, decides that he's gonna jump through the rings and like hold on to his kids as if that was gonna do anything. All he did was take up more space on the tiny little ring they were on.
Yeah, and for him to somehow jump through these rings that were mixed, like swirling through. Like, what kind of acrobatic work?
Unbelievable. Also, that's what they told him to do. Like, they were literally like, you're gonna die if you enter those rings. And he's like, not me, though.
Not me.
Not me.
Hold on, I got this.
Yeah.
The power of love.
No deal.
Which was a theme. Power of love.
Shut up.
Yeah, with the ghost, because the 13th ghost, they were telling him.
Oh, you're right. The heartbroken man.
Yep.
Oh my god. Anyway, the 13th ghost was his fail-safe. The dad was supposed to be the 13th ghost. Yep. Whatever. Somehow, what happened? The whole house blows up.
Yeah. Well, because, please.
I forget.
Because the dad jumps in, right? And then Cyrus gets fucking cut up and gets killed by the ghost because they're upset with him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Whatever they did. Oh, because that's right. The nanny saves the day. Yep. She's hitting all these levers.
Yes.
And the ghosts go from being like hypnotized to all of a sudden being like, no, Cyrus.
We know who to kill.
Yeah, so they kill Cyrus. Mm-hmm. The whole house blows up. I guess there goes their life savings.
Yes.
Then it pans over and all of these murderous ghosts who can kill people are just walking free, just chilling, just walking away. At the beginning of the show, in the intro, they were like, Shaggy was like, I thought you said, Cyrus, that this ghost, the Juggernaut, he's the 12th ghost, whatever, you'll learn if you watch.
If you watch it.
If this really convinces you to watch it.
I feel like it does.
Yeah.
I feel like it does.
So... They're like, at the beginning, in the intro, he's like, Cyrus, I thought you said he only killed 9 people. He's like, it's been a lot more since he's been dead. Yes. And apparently this freaking ghost had killed 31 people since then. Yep. But no, now they're just running free and we're supposed to be like, no big deal.
Maybe they're crossing over. Maybe they realize, you know what?
I don't know.
I'm done.
I don't know.
13 Ghosts 2? So many sequels are happening now. We need a sequel.
They could easily do a 13th Ghost 2. Like, no problem. And that's the last of what I wrote. I wrote, no one cares that the killer ghost. I didn't write it plural. I was so shocked. Killer ghost are
ghost singular.
Free. Yeah. So, all in all, I gave it 1.5 hearts.
Okay.
So, I'll explain that. I feel like I was kind of generous.
I feel like you didn't give it enough.
So,
love,
I did, I could see the enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was silly. It was a little all over the place.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared, which I loved. I loved the aspect that I felt no fear while watching it. Yeah. Because I don't like being afraid. I'm afraid every day. I don't need to be afraid watching that. So that was fun. But it was like, I felt like, first of all, the amount of times that they felt the need to run through all 12 ghosts, I could tell they had spent a long time coming up with them. And they were like, I gotta say the names of these again. We have not talked about them enough.
Well, that's the thing. They, so much went to these ghosts. Like I said, they all have backstories. They all have names. How they died. And, not, some of them you'll see, once. And that's it. Like, the child.
For 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, should this have been, I feel like if this was made nowadays, it would have been a 5-episode miniseries for sure.
Which people have brought up. They were like, 13 Ghosts would be great as a show. And I agree. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be good, but
I feel like they could make it better if it wasn't so goofy and it wasn't made in 2001.
The whole process is, the whole movie idea is a little goofy.
Was it actually supposed to be scary at that time?
I don't know. I remember being so scared of the cover when I was a child. The cover of it.
The cover's creepy.
Which is creepy.
It's like a screaming face with a bunch of pictures.
I was so scared of this movie, and whenever I would bug my older cousin, I would just hang out in his room, and he would be like, all right, he would lock me in, me and my cousin JD, and he would put the movie on. He's like, I'm gonna put 13 Ghosts on, and we would I was hysterical. It was traumatizing. And I never watched it until I got older because I was so scared of that movie. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it, and I'm like, man, this is a bad movie.
Dude, how old were you? How old do you think you were when you watched it?
I had to be between 6 to 9. I was young.
6 years old.
Well, because when the movie come out,
2001.
Oh my God,
2001. You were 7 when it came out.
Yeah.
So what? You were older when you watched it?
Yeah, I'm in my 20s, close to 20s when I actually watched it.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying you watched it for the first time when you were 6 or not, between 6 and 9.
No.
And I was like, girl, that's
when I was
older?
Traumatized by the DVD.
Okay.
As a child.
Fair enough.
But then when I got older, I was like, I'm gonna watch it because I was always scared of this cover, and I never knew what the movie was, and then it was not scary at all.
No, it's not scary, but it is fun. It is a fun movie, and if you're looking for I feel like a lot of my guilty pleasures are going to be lower rated. They're going to be not, I'm going to know they're not good, but I'm going to enjoy them because they're fun to watch.
Right.
And I feel like that's what this is. If you like horror movies that aren't actually scary and are really goofy, then this is you'll enjoy it. I think.
I mean, it's fun. It's got some cool like prosthetic work. You know,
Yeah.
you can admire that. And
Yeah.
the acting's real bad, but
Yeah.
it's got Matthew Lillard. Like he's
Right, and it's got the dad, and I forget what the dad is in, but I've seen him before.
He looked familiar. I was
Yeah.
not sure what else he was
should
in.
probably. This is for two people doing movie review podcast.
We don't know shit about what we're talking about.
No, we don't know actors. We don't know directors. We don't know anything.
I only know the actors that are important to me.
Right, of course.
Personally.
So anyway, that's 13 Ghosts.
Okay, well, there's a few more things in the review sheet you didn't answer.
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
So, scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to survive the situation?
Okay. Thank you so much for asking.
Of course.
I wrote down 5.
Okay.
So I felt like, listen, this is, it's a goofy movie, but in the actual situation, if I was in it, I would be, I don't know that I would survive running away from ghosts I can't see unless I have special goggles on.
Yeah.
However, all of our main characters survived. Only the bad guys died. I mean,
true.
Dennis was like kind of a half good character. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't really a good character. Everyone else died, so the heroes, they were fine. So I gave myself a 5. I don't really know that I would survive, but under the circumstances, I feel like it's 50-50 chance.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it? Love main character, smash or pass?
Yeah.
Who would be, I guess, the dad, right?
The dad has to be the main character. I wish I could be someone who would say smash. I do.
He seems like a good dad.
He seems like a good dad.
A good husband.
I mean, he loved his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want my husband to love me that much. Like, I for sure would want my husband to love me so much that he'd be devastated that I was gone. Obviously. I mean, like,
bare minimum.
Yeah, that's the bare minimum. He's an okay dad. He did take his kids for the first time into this house with a weird stranger.
That's fair. He was probably thinking about the money.
Yeah.
I
mean, he could have left them at home with the nanny.
Yeah.
But he did throw himself into a run. Anyway, we're not asking if he's a dad. He's a dad. You know what? I'll say he's a good dad. But I did say pass.
Okay, that's valid.
And then main villain, I assume, is Cyrus.
One of the 13 ghosts.
Or one of the 13 ghosts. I'm going to be honest with you, across the board, I was feeling passes. It just wasn't working for me. I'm not into any mutilated corpses. Isn't really my vibe. I'm sure that at the time, there were some people who were into the princess or...
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
She a baddie.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my drink. But... Personally, no, thank you. At first I was like, early 2000s, like, I could see myself thinking the lawyer was attractive, like, back then.
Okay.
He was giving off, like, Freddie Prinze Jr. vibes,
right.
Definitely. But, I mean, he really wasn't a main villain. So, anyway, this time around, we had passes all the way through.
Okay. All right. One day we'll get there.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we get a villain.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I like a good villain. Yes, please. And then the one question I also didn't answer was, would you recommend to a non-horror fan?
Yes.
And I said no, because I do feel like...
It's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie. You have to like horror and like bad movies to watch it.
Yeah.
And it's graphic enough that... I would be like, I'm not just going to be like, hey, random person on the street, you should watch this.
Yeah. I think you would really enjoy this. If it's someone you don't like.
Yeah, there's literally nothing you could not enjoy.
All right.
Please tell me. I am so excited. I am so excited.
I have so many thoughts about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, One Small Hitch. I already gave snapshot. So we're just gonna jump into it.
Yeah.
So immediately it opens up with PowerPoint slide show credits. And I was already like, I know how this is gonna go. Budget $1.
Yeah.
And the slides didn't even match like the rest of the movie. Like if you're watching like an old Disney like Bambi, like they had the slideshow credits and it blends all. No, they just paid like an intern to just fucking make credits.
Yeah.
So already I was like, this is great. This is a start. Opens up. So you have your two characters, Josh and Molly. And Josh and Molly were childhood friends. Josh is Molly's brother's best friend. Right. So they grew up together.
Classic trope.
Yes.
Brother's best friend.
Brother's best friend.
Yeah.
Their families are close, and they're both flying to Chicago for Molly's mom, who's getting married.
Yeah.
And they're getting married at Josh's parents' house. So they're constantly connected, okay, is the theme. So it opens up, and you get an idea of who Josh and Molly are. So Josh is like this playboy, like,
classic.
Just like a kind of a slimy dude. And he's not that hot. Like,
no.
You would think someone with Josh's personality would just be a much more attractive guy.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say about him is that he's tall. But that's it. Like, he is just not it. So he's with his, like, girlfriend, or, like, making out, and he finds out that she has, like, wedding planning books, and he's like, what is this? She's like, well, you're taking me to see your parents, so I thought, you just want me to meet them, like, I guess move forward. And he was like, nah, dumps her.
Right.
Heads to the airport, and switches over to Molly, who's dating, like, this dude in a band who's, like, total douche.
Yep.
As douche as you can get.
Yep.
I don't know his name. We'll just call him
Doesn't
douche.
matter. Yeah.
So Molly, and I see, like, why you might have liked this movie, because she had the bangs.
Shut up!
Raised Christian. Catholic.
Okay.
I saw connections
Shut
here.
up. It's just like the movie screen, and there's a mirror next to it, and I just keep looking between me and her.
I swear, the second she showed up, I was like, oh my god. I was like, this is Megan's haircut.
Shut up.
So, anyway, they go to the airport. Molly and the boyfriend. And so this man walks out. So they're taking the bags out of the car. This man walks out of the airport. And I thought, when the way he presented himself, I thought he was going to be like, oh my god, like, my boyfriend. Like, I thought he was the boyfriend of Molly's boyfriend.
That would have been an amazing twist.
And I was like, oh my god, what a twist.
Right.
And this other woman comes out who looks 20 years older than this fucking kid who walked out. And she was like, oh, like, that's my husband. Like, and I'm sorry, there's no way that those two people would ever be married in real life. It looks like they had no money, and they got, like, an intern and like Susan from HR, and we're like, here's $10, say these lines, because we don't have anyone else.
No, there was definitely no chemistry, but they were only in it for about 30 seconds.
It was only 30 seconds, but it was enough for me to write a note about it. Basically, they're like, oh, Molly, how do you know douchebag's wife? Like, and so that's the twist, that douchebag is married. Like, so Molly's pissed off. She punches him. Good for her. She runs to the bathroom. And there's a flight attendant in the bathroom, and she's like, here you go, and gives her a fucking pill. Like, doesn't say what it is or anything. It's just like, like, I needed to keep smiling, and just gives it to Molly, and Molly fucking takes it because, that's what you do at a bathroom.
I know, we know people. We know someone who's just taken random random pills that someone gave them. I don't know how anyone could ever do that. That's horrifying.
In, like, certain settings, I could see it more common, but this was an airport bathroom.
Yeah, that's
true. Like, this is, like, you're down on, which Molly was down on her luck. Like, her boyfriend, she finds out, who's a douchebag the whole time, but finds out that he's been married.
2 minutes that we've known him.
Yeah, all 2 minutes, I already knew. So they meet, so Molly ends up finding Josh. Their flight was delayed. They were taking the same flight because they somehow live in the same area.
Yeah, I don't know why. They never explained that.
Yeah, no, they just happened to be there. So they meet up. Molly's a mess. She ends up, like, she's fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
She falls asleep. Oh, man. Okay, so Josh gets a call from his mom.
Oh, my God.
And she's like, where are you? And he's like, oh, my flight was delayed. I forgot to tell you. And she's, like, panicked on the phone. And he's like, what's wrong? She's like, nothing. I just thought you would be here. And he's like, Mom, like, what's up? And she's like, I'll just, like, let your dad tell you or some shit. And I was like, oh, my God, what's going to happen? So the dad goes on the phone. And I feel like I wrote the quote. I feel like I had to. Yep, okay. So Josh says, Dad, are you there? And the dad says, yeah, I'm still here. But according to doctors, not much longer. It's the big C. Terminal. I swear to God, I had to pause it because I couldn't fucking breathe. It was absolutely insane. The way he told Josh that he had cancer and was dying from it.
No.
And I'm like, they couldn't wait like a day.
No.
They couldn't wait. Because it's not like he was dying the next day. He had like, what, 6 months, I think?
I don't know.
He had like 6 months or something. which is still terrible. Like, this is terrible news.
It's not great news. Something I do love about rom-coms is that they do just take the most wild scenarios and nobody acts upset about it ever.
No,
like,
they were like, we need this plot to go.
Yeah, we need to move along. Like, when I found out my dad had cancer, I was literally just like a sobbing mess on the floor. Like, I couldn't.
Which is a normal reaction.
Right, which is normal. Like, whatever. But then in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this as I rewatched it. Because I was like, I haven't seen this since before I learned. Yeah. And then when I saw it. Go ahead.
So, Josh, like, so the dad says this.
Right.
And then he's like, my final wish, I just wish I got to see... meet the girl you were eventually gonna marry. Right. Like, that's his dying wish. And Josh was like, what if you already knew her? And it just cuts to the next scene. So you already have an idea of what Josh is gonna do.
Which, by the way, so apparently Josh has no reaction to the fact that his dad is dying.
Because it cuts right to the dad being like, this is my dying wish. And Josh being like, shit. Like,
yeah. Like, I gotta make that wish come true. Bippity boppity boo.
Yeah, and that's how you can tell Josh fucking sucks. Like, and I wrote multiple times in my notes that Josh is literally the worst person. I hated Josh. So, keep in mind, Molly's fucking sleeping. She's knocked out. They somehow end up on the plane. Yeah. And she's like, where am I? Yeah. And I'm like, how'd they let you on the plane, like, carrying this? He had to be carrying her. Anyway.
Right. Which is very alarming.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they would never let an unconscious person on a plane, but I could be wrong, unless you were a toddler.
Yeah, which I just don't not see a child.
But it was 2012, so
anything happened.
Still, it was post 9/11.
Post 9/11. When did that happen? Yes. Yeah, so it would have been more strict, you would think. Yeah. But whatever. I guess Josh has that charisma. Mm-hmm. You know, he can just do whatever he wants. Apparently. So she pretty much she wakes up. He tells her like, "Hey, like." My dad's dying of cancer, and this is his dying wish. I told him this, that we were engaged, and she was like, what the? No. And then she was like, all right, your dad's dying of cancer. Like, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
So they agreed to be engaged.
Right.
And...
Fake engaged.
Another
trope.
Yeah, a good one. So they land... All the family's excited. All the family knows already, so they have
Not just that, but both sides of the family.
Yes. Because they're fucking linked. Yeah. Like, both families are just linked together. So that happens, and pretty much nothing super eventful happens until, like, the wedding day of the mother. So that happens, and Josh meets an old friend, I guess, named Giselle. Yes. Giselle Broussard. Yeah. Just a fucking name. Yeah. And she's, of course, like, the gorgeous blonde, like...
Right. Classic.
Yeah, and she's like, like, it's crazy seeing your hair. And he's like, Josh switched gears immediately. This whole time he's pretending. Like, it is fake. You know, he was like, Molly's my fiance, whatever. But then, like, the second this chick's talking to him, he's like, girl, like, it's crazy. Like, we should, like, talk. And, like, the family's all around. I'm like, why are you flirting like this? I know it's fake, but, like, just for a fucking week, just act, you know.
Right. This is your con.
God. So... Giselle finds out that he's engaged, and she's like, oh my god, like, you're engaged? And he's like, whoa. And then, like, he gets drug away to, like, the wedding or whatever, so. Right.
Which apparently he's in.
Yes. What side would he be in? Yeah. I didn't even think about that. He walked with Molly. Yeah. So, sorry, I'm skipping through because I wrote so many fucking notes, but none of this actually matters.
There was I will mention there was this moment that is really locked into my brain forever, which is
old women talking about sex.
No.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
That was at the wedding.
Oh my god, I totally forgot
Did I write a quote? Okay, please I did write a quote.
Okay, yes.
We'll jump back to it. So this is after, the ceremony, whatever, reception. So Molly is sitting with these old women for some reason, and they're talking to her about, like, the honeymoon. Mm-hmm. And the one old lady says, it's like going to the dentist.
Dude.
And I was like, what the fuck do you mean by that? And I'm, like, concerned listening. I'm like, these old women need fucking help.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the one quote I wanted to say, that it's like going to a dentist. So take that as you will, whatever that fucking means.
I mean, considering the fact that I am in paralyzing fear before I go to the dentist.
Yeah, there's no good feeling.
No.
Going to the dentist,
Yeah.
when you get, like, poked around a bit, you're uncomfortable. Like, is that
it's
what
painful,
she means? Like, the first time is you're going to be uncomfortable and in pain.
Or is it, like, every time? Because that's a very Regency era romance novel. Your mother's talking to you about the birds and the bees.
Right, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Right, exactly. Think of England.
Oh, anyway, so things happen. You know, they're playing along. They are living together, technically. So they were going to, like, get a hotel, and the parents were like, no, like, you could stay here, like, stay in our house. And they were like, like, because they don't want to be in the same bedroom, obviously.
Yeah.
But Josh's parents own, like, a framing business.
Yeah.
And they have, like, a nice fucking loft studio
really
above
nice.
it.
Yeah.
Which the way they were describing was, like, a storage room. And I was like, oh, this is going to look like shit. And it was, like, gorgeous. So they stay up there. So Josh is in the couch. Molly takes the bed.
Right. Only one bed.
Only one bed. Yeah. So they're, like, living together. And as the movie goes through, like, on and on, you know, you see, like, Molly's kind of, like, into Josh, like, kind of falling for him, which I don't know how. But Josh meets back up with Giselle.
Yes.
So what happens is he goes to lunch with Giselle, and Molly's with her brother's wife, which, by the way, her brother and the wife know that it's a secret engagement. It's not a real engagement.
Yeah,
Keep saying secret. So Molly's hanging out with the sister-in-law. Right? Yeah, sister-in-law. Yeah. And so Josh is talking to Giselle, and he tells Giselle, like, oh, it's like a fake engagement. And she's like, oh my God, like, so hot. And they bang.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know it's fake engagement, but, like, it feels a little, like, I don't know. Like, they're living together. Like, he's going off banging Giselle in a hotel. Yeah. Like, Molly's talking with the sister-in-law and tells the sister-in-law, like, oh, like, he's meeting Giselle. And sister-in-law was like, they're both single. Like, what? Right. And Molly's like, well, like, nothing. She pretty much like, oh, like, nothing will happen, but then it's like, oh, like, something might happen. And then, so Molly has this whole thing where she finds out they do. So Josh tells Molly, hey, like, I had sex with her. And Molly was like, okay. Like, upset about it, but, like, like, you can't be super upset.
You're not in an actual relationship.
Yeah. You know, Josh sucks. Like, you don't want him. So Molly tells the sister-in-law that, and the sister-in-law is like, I'm going to take you out shopping, get your mind off, in which she's a good person. She's a good person.
This is another classic 2000s moment.
Yeah, the flashbacks to the fashion, like, the chunky necklaces, just the belt, like, it was not good.
No.
I had really bad flashbacks, but it was like a montage, you know, always a montage. Yeah. So they end up staying longer. So they were only supposed to stay the weekend, but then because the dad is, like, you know, not doing well.
Are you skipping the one scene that I feel like I'm sure you would have words about?
Which one?
The bathtub scene?
Oh, that's after.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I got excited. I was like, how? I was like, I know you have words about this. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, that's... Or was that? Because it was with the... I don't know. It might be around the same... It might be actually, right before. It might be right before the montage, because she was in a bathtub when Josh told her.
Right.
And she was going to wax... Or shave to... Because the sister-in-law was getting waxed as, like, a heart. Like, the pubic hair is a heart. Which... Vibe. I'm like, okay, like, that's kind of cool. And so Molly was like, fuck it, I'll try that. And so she's trying to shave, and Josh, like, opens the door.
Yeah, he, like, walks in on her.
Pretty much sees her fucking nude as shit.
Yeah.
And then that's when he tells her, like, by the way, I had sex with.
Yeah, I don't know. That's I don't know why, but that scene, like, recurs to me every once in a while. Like, I'll just be living my life, and it's like it's, once again, bringing in That's So Raven. It's like that comes to
That's
me.
your scene?
And I don't know why. I don't know why.
I have my scene, which we'll get to.
Okay.
I mean, that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
I forgot he saw her fucking naked.
Anyway.
Oh,
I know what your scene's gonna be.
Yeah, you think
it's gonna be the lingerie scene. Oh God, I knew it.
Okay, yeah. I'm not excited to talk about that.
Okay.
Anyway, so montage happens, whatever. So pretty much, Molly is, like, trying to date people. So the sister-in-law is trying to hook up Molly with people. And so she's, like, dressing up cute. She's going out, and Josh is kind of, like, a little pissy about it, which can't be pissy about it, Josh, because you're fucking Giselle, which he's consistently doing. He's going out and fucking her. And I'm trying to remember, because I didn't write in the notes, but I know the mom ends up finding out. And I want to say it's around this time.
Okay, so the mom... So he is at he is at the hotel with this girl. Like, apparently they're having their rendezvous at a hotel, which, like, where's your home, lady? Where do you live?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. But anyway, so the mom and dad just randomly decide they're gonna just go and check out
it's like a tour. Yeah, like, yes, the
for
venue.
the wedding.
Right.
And if my parents went and venue hunted behind my back, I would not be excited about that, but whatever. So they're doing that, and the mom happens to see him kissing Giselle.
Yes.
And she, like, quickly makes sure that the dad doesn't see.
Yeah.
And then, so the mom knows.
Yes. And that, like, we don't come back to that until
For
a while.
a while.
Which I'm surprised, because if I was Josh's mom,
Yes.
I would have beat his ass in that lobby. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been so fucking mad. Like, you're literally marrying someone.
Yes.
Because it's your dad's wish who's
Right.
dying.
Right.
And you're fucking around with this
Yeah.
blondie here.
Yes. No, I would not have been okay with that.
Yeah. So, anyway, Josh is, like, being a little weird because he's, like, kind of falling for Molly, but his idea of love is so fucked, I guess, where he's like, oh, I just, Molly knows me well, and, like, I like hanging out, but, like, I kind of, he literally was like, I wish there was an in-between, like, with the sex and enjoying, like, being someone's company. And Molly's like, oh, that's love. And it's like, God, Josh is the fucking worst.
Yeah,
like,
he's the worst.
So anyway, he's falling for Molly, but she's they don't fuck, so he's kind of like, okay. All right, so we get to the point where Molly has, like, a bridal shower.
Yeah.
Right? And so they're giving her, like, they give her lingerie, and it's like a black corset, like, piece.
Yeah.
And at night, I have to, like, set the stage because it's
do.
so important. I have to describe this really well. So they're sitting on the couch, and the camera is aimed, like, at them sitting at the couch, right? Yeah. So they're sitting on the couch, and Molly's like, oh, like, do you want to see the best thing I got for my bridal shower? And he's like, oh, sure. So she gets up and goes around the back of the room. And you would think the camera would fucking change, right? Yeah. Follow her, whatever. And it still stays focused on Josh, who's sitting there waiting. And I'm like, damn, she's going to throw that lingerie on? Like, it's a fucking power move for her to just strut out. Yeah. I didn't think she was going to do, like, I thought she was just going to walk in and walk out, which what I would have done. Because we're like, fuck you. Like, look how good I look. I'm going to bed. She puts on this lingerie. She walks out. Camera's still aimed just on Josh. And so she walks into view. Yeah. But the camera doesn't change. So all you see is, like, her little butt. Her little butt. And Josh just looking at her like, oh my God. And I thought there was, like, a stunt double because they wouldn't show her face. And I was like, maybe she
might have been.
Well, no, it pans up eventually. Oh, and I was like, why? I'm like, maybe she's insecure. Like, okay. Right. So, like, he gets up and she, like, turns and looks toward it. So the camera pans up. And I'm like, so she wasn't a stunt double. They just didn't bother to change the fucking angle. No. Which they should have, if, this was going to be a big moment. Right. Have the camera slowly pan up, like check her out. Like, this is the Cinderella moment of this movie. And it was, like, real bad.
It was definitely, like, such a ballsy move. Like, literally, the fact that she thought, like, she knew she was going to seduce him in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, she made that
Well, she was at a point where she was like, fuck it. Because then she was like, I want to, like, have sex, no strings attached. And Josh, of course, was like, oh, sick. He's a fucking asshole. But that was my most memorable scene because...
fair enough.
Yeah. So... Right after that in the morning, they're, like, lovey-dovey, like, he can't stop kissing her. And she's like, they're so annoying. And she was like, oh, I was thinking, like, since our parents are doing all the big wedding stuff, and I'm going to pause because I'm like, so the parents are planning things, right? Mm-hmm. They're making deposits for this wedding that's not going to fucking happen. Yeah. Like, the whole idea of this thing... They were going to stay for a little bit, leave, and then Josh was going to tell his mom afterwards, like, oh, by the way, that was fake.
Once his dad dies.
Yes, drop that bomb on his mom, who's already fucking grieving for the dad.
Right, he's like, this is my only thing that I have left to make me happy.
So, no fucking thought process, obviously, went into the script.
No.
So, she was like, oh, since they're doing the fun stuff, maybe we could do, like, or they're doing the boring stuff, we'll do the fun stuff. So, they go registry shopping.
Right, first of all, it's... The idea of registry shopping is so of this era because nowadays it's literally you go on the computer
just online.
plus.
I remember watching movies when I was younger and I was like, what are they doing?
Yes.
I didn't know what they were fucking scanning. Yes.
I remember thinking that would be so exciting and fun. And now we're in a modern era where I'm like,
yeah.
all
I
right.
would hate, like,
No.
scanning.
Yeah.
Anyway, this scene is tied with another scene as the scene I think should be deleted.
Okay.
So they're in this mall and they're just having, like, they're being too goofy. Like,
Yeah.
I get for trying to show, like, oh, look how happy they are now that they've banged.
Yeah.
But they're, like, so fucking loud and they're like, oh, I bet you can't shoot from here. Like,
Yeah.
and, like, they're, like, aiming the trigger, like, the fucking whatever. Registry thing on the tags, and they're, like, making a game out of it. And it would be cute if it was, you know, done well. Right. But it was just annoying. And I just could not stand that fucking scene. Giselle shows up and she's like, oh, hey. And I trash on Giselle, but she didn't do anything.
No, she didn't do anything wrong.
Like, she knows it's a fake engagement. And she was kind of, like, weird about it until Molly was like, oh, like, you know, it's cool. I'll walk away. And then Giselle was like, all right, I'm going to grab Josh's ass. In public.
Right.
So, you know, Giselle's just, you know, she's a single boss lady. So we're not going to slam on Giselle a bit, you know, much.
Yeah.
So that happens. Molly's a little, like, pissy about it. But, you know, it is what it is. And then we jump to the catering scene, which is my other scene that I feel like should be deleted, but there is one part of it that I loved, which was so funny.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
But I hated the fucking accents.
Yeah, there was no reason
of
for
the two, like, waiters or the
Yeah.
chefs. It was, like, so bad. So pretty much Josh is with his parents, Molly's with her parents. They're, you know, food tasting.
Right.
And the two chefs or waiters are, like, obnoxious. But they bring out a dish, and they call it the groom's dilemma. And Josh was like, oh, well, like, I want both. And his mom was like, you can't have both. You need to pick one. You need to be with one.
Right.
And that's when we, like, finally come back to her knowing.
Right. She finally is confronting him in this weird passive-aggressive way.
Yes, it's just, like, the way it was so funny. I was like, oh, shit, okay. So she says that, and then Molly is just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, engagement's over.
Right.
She leaves. She runs out. Josh runs out. Josh's dad just fucking starts having some sort of heart attack. He's, like, dying on the table. So I was like, oh, my God. So
call an ambulance.
Yeah, call an ambulance. So Josh goes out to Molly, and she's like, I'm in love with you. I can't do this. And Josh is like, oh, my God. So she fucking leaves.
Yeah.
And then... does Josh know the dad's at the hospital at this point? Because he, like, ends up at Giselle's house.
I don't think so. I think he leaves right from there. Like, only the parents know at this point that there's a hospital excitement happening. Okay, yeah. So Josh goes to Giselle to talk to her. And this is where Giselle's like, oh, we're, like, friends with benefits. You can, like, talk to me. And I was like, okay, like, that's nice of her to be like, I'll listen to you, fucking dirtbag. Like, what's up? And he's pretty much like, oh, like, you know, I think I love her or whatever. And she's like, well, like, be with her. Shit. Right. So then... and then, like, she kind of hints that she's still in love with her ex.
Yeah, right? It was a little weird. You know, whatever, Giselle. Yeah, like, do your thing. You. So they all end up back at the hospital. Molly's already there. And, you know, they're like, the dad's in the room. And the doctor who, novella, beautiful soap opera doctor. Like, the most like, one of the most gorgeous men, like, I've seen. Like, in the movies, he's the most gorgeous man.
No, I wish he was a starring.
It was, like, crazy.
I'm not wrong. Like, he has really bright blue eyes.
His eyes are, like, blue.
They're, like, super piercing.
Yeah, no, he was, like, stunning for no fucking reason.
Movie. Yeah.
So he tells the dad, like, oh, it was, like, heartburn, which the mom was thinking it was a fucking heart attack, which is, like, heartburn because he ate a spicy chili or something.
Yeah, a jalapeno.
Yeah. So he's in the room away. So everyone else is, like, with Molly. They're kind of like, oh, like, you know, we're so sorry. Like, what happened? And then Josh shows up with fucking Giselle.
Dude.
With, like...
I don't know why he would... why she felt like she would have to go.
I was stunned. I was like, this man, like, he is the worst. And I literally wrote here, Josh is the worst. So then Molly punches Josh, which is fair. And then he's like, oh, like, I'm in love with you. And proposes to her in the hospital.
Yes.
And everyone's like, oh, like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then the dad, like, rolls in, literally in a wheelchair, and is like, what'd I miss?
Yeah.
And the movie ends. It cuts. Yep. And I was like, I felt like this movie was, like, 200 hours. Like, it was, like, never ending.
Yeah.
And ended really bad. Like, worse than it started, I would say.
Did you see the cutscene?
There's a cutscene?
Dude!
Oh, yeah, with the baby! Oh, my God! Yes, I did! So, Of course, they show Molly giving birth.
Of course.
And the baby's what, named after the dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how it ends.
Oh, and then the nurse was like, I wrote it on here. I'm looking at my notes. How much they pay that nurse to say, did you pick a name yet? She was like so bad. Yeah, did you pick a name yet? And you're like, oh, whatever the fucking dad's, which I didn't even know the dad's name.
Max,
Okay.
I think.
Until they named the baby, and I'm like, I'm assuming it's the dad, because what else would it be named?
No, I think so. I wasn't thinking about, that definitely was. Anyway,
Yeah,
so did you love it? Was it your favorite movie of all time?
I gave it half a heart. Half a heart, because
oh my god,
it was, and like I enjoy bad movies.
Yes.
You know, like we watch our bad like rom-coms around Christmas, but like this was like really rough. This was rough.
I watched it back in 2017 or so. Like,
okay.
It was like shortly after I moved in with my now husband, and I didn't have friends, and we hadn't like become friends yet, and I just like would watch rom-coms by myself with Ruby, my dog.
Oh my god.
And so I watched this. And I liked it enough that I went home and I had my mom and my sisters watch it with me.
2017. How old were you? How old were you?
I was 23.
Oh my god. Oh, this movie was...
It's not like I was like, this is a 10 out of 10 movie, but I remembered it being better. Like, I remembered it being something that I actually, like, genuinely enjoyed.
Oh, man.
And then rewatching it was a little upsetting. Like, I was like, who am I? Who was I?
Listen, there are some movies that I know are bad if I rewatch them, and I refuse to rewatch them because I don't want to lose that nostalgia. No. I don't want to lose.
It's also been hard rewatching movies that I'm gonna have you watch and watching it through your eyes. Like the movie that I'm going to be recommending to you at the end of this, I was cackling watching it. So we'll get there though.
Okay,
go ahead.
I'm a little scared, but okay. So how likely are you to fall in love with this situation? I gave it a 4.
Oh!
So I didn't give it a 0 because if Josh was a better person, if he was actually a childhood friend, like, you know, like I could see like maybe, you know, like we're close, like whatever, but I don't know. Yeah. Not really.
Okay.
I would not recommend it to a non-romance fan. I don't know if I'd recommend it to a romance fan. And then love interest, I guess it would be either or, right?
Right.
Both passed.
Okay.
I didn't like either. Molly was okay, but she was like, she was a little too like quirky for me.
Yeah, not like other girls.
And then side character, I picked the sister-in-law.
Yes, that's
and
who
I would
pick.
smash.
Yeah, no,
because
I had the exact same thoughts. Yes,
she was fun. You know, she was waxing her hoo-ha to look like a little heart. Like that's cute. And she was just a good person. Yeah,
she was. Yeah, I liked her vibes.
Yeah, no, she was the good, and the brother too. Like he cared for Molly, so they were good characters. That is my review of One Small Hitch.
Oh my god. Thank you so much for watching it. That was very hard for me to share with you because I knew that this would happen.
It's funny because, like, for me, 13 Ghosts, I know is just shit. So I'm just like, please trash it. But I've had a feeling this was going to be a little close to your heart.
It's not even like I know it. It's not even, I know it's bad. Like, I know it's bad. And rewatching it, the amount of bad it was so much worse. Yeah. And now, watching it, I would definitely be like, no, this is a bad movie.
This is rough, yeah.
But back then...
Yeah. I don't know if we would have been friends in 2017.
We became friends in 2017, ma'am.
Was it?
Yes. We met in August of 2017.
You have this on your calendar?
I basically do. August 1st was my very first interview with the job where we met. And then we had and I don't know the exact date when I met you, but we had the joint interview.
Yeah.
We were both there.
Yeah.
So I don't know the exact, I could figure it out.
But we were 23.
We were 23.
Oh my God.
And then it was in October that, for your Halloween party that I forced myself into your life.
I wouldn't say forced.
Yeah. No,
I talked to you first.
Okay.
So I had an interest first.
Okay. Yeah. If you say so.
Of course.
I mean, it was love at first sight for me, but whatever.
Anyway, I'm surprised. Yeah. Well, this is before I knew your
Yes. No.
your love for.
Yeah. I slowly eased you into it.
But I mean, you've given me Mamma Mia. You've given me Rent. You've given me.
Oh God,
which
Rent. Do you remember Rent?
Yeah, I was really upset.
That was really bad. That was like literally the guys were in the room playing their Warhammer or whatever it was, and I was just destroying your life.
I was so bad. It was so bad.
It was so bad.
Anyway.
Yes. Okay.
We're not reviewing those musicals.
No, we are not. So, to close out for this week, we want to give what next week's recommendations are. So we're not going to give the theme. We're going to make you sit on it. For, all 2 of our listeners.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Which my mom knew what a podcast was. So.
Yeah. She did?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's great.
So I was really happy for her.
So, next week, I'm going to be having you watch 50 Shades of Grey.
I actually forgot that movie existed, to be honest.
God. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my movie for you is Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, I'm devastated.
So
yeah, I'm devastated.
I think we're both gonna be devastated.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one.
I think there's like 2 extremes of the genre.
Yes.
So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, both ends of the spectrum. Really low budget, really high budget. No one watches. A lot of people watched. Yeah.
Paranormal?
A lot of people watch Paranormal.
Oh, not a lot of people watch 50 Shades?
No, I'm saying from last week.
Oh,
so this week to next week. My apologies. We're on.
I thought you were talking about the movies itself. No, they're both like very extreme.
No, they were. Yes, yeah, they're both on opposite ends of the love spectrum and horror spectrum. Definitely.
Oh, okay.
So, if you want to reach out on social media with any suggestions for movies or themes, you can find us at howdoyouwatchthis@gmail.com. We are on Insta, Threads, and TikTok.
You tell we're millennials. The TikTok.
The clock app. So we're on TikTok. Don't really know yet if there's going to be videos on TikTok, especially after this. And we're How Do You Watch This on those as well. So thanks for listening.
Hopefully we'll see you next week.
And we didn't scare you off.